What are we here for again? My childhood memories. Since I did preschool and daycare last time, I'm gonna be doing 4th grade. So, we're gonna be doing the next video in the series. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm gonna be doing, I think I'm gonna be doing 2nd grade first. I didn't write this on my paper, but there's some memories I did not write down that are kind of short, but I felt as if like I could do them no problem. So let's start. I went to this elementary school where I met my kindergarten teacher. And she was the teacher that used to make me want to be an elementary school teacher, particularly what she was, the kindergarten teacher. Now, I eventually changed my mind, but that's not what we're talking about. At the same school in 2nd grade, in 2nd grade, this is when my, I guess, health life went downhill. This was the time where I had an ear infection, like 2 cavities, and then a bee story. You know the story that Billie Eilish told, I don't know where, but she said she had a bee story, which totally reminded me of my own when I was in 2nd grade. I had this friend that, pretty weirder than I am, which is weird. We were out playing on the field during recess. Those are my cats, by the way. And we were playing chase. Is that what they call it still? Chasing? Or tag? I don't know. We were chasing each other around. That's all I remember. And all of a sudden, she kept on saying she has a bee in her hair. Or someone else that she was chasing looked at her hair and realized that there was a bee stuck in it. And it's not like a whole nest, it was just one bee. The bee got stuck in her hair and was tangled up in her hair. And we got scared and just started legitimately running away from her in fear because she had a bee in her hair, and for some reason we were running away as if the bee would get loose and sting us, which wasn't the case, or would not be the case. And eventually a teacher got the bee out, which was my kindergarten teacher. She got the bee out no problem, and that was that. I just remember being terrified, that's all. I also remember while I was on the playground, my friend that I was playing with started saying that my ear is bleeding. I'm like, my ear's not bleeding. I didn't believe her. So she convinced me enough to go to the bathroom, and my whole entire ear was dripping in blood. And my response was, oh, my ear is really bleeding. So I ended up having to go to the nurse, and she told me I have an ear infection, so I had to go to the doctor, not the hospital. And I don't remember if that was the time where I had to get stitches inside of my ear, but going into recent doctor's visits, they can still see the stitches that I've had in my ears for, I've had a lot of ear infections, too many. My ears don't really like earrings very much, which is why I have all these ear infections. I used to, when I was a baby, when my mom got my ears pierced, I had to have tubes up my ears because I had an ear infection not long after my ears were pierced. That, I bet you, was fun. And then there was a dentist that came to the school, which is pretty common. They still do that. And that's when they actually realized I had cavities. So what they did was they just filled the cavities while I was at school. And my mom says that she doesn't know why she didn't just take me home, but she just stayed, and I could not control my mouth. So I was literally drooling all over the table. And my mom every once in a while would just hold like a little napkin underneath my mouth to catch the drool. And whenever my mom stopped holding the napkin and I would start drooling, the kids in the classroom would be like, "She's drooling again." And my mom would be like, "Oh, okay. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Pretty embarrassing, but pretty funny. Okay, getting to the point where I'm gonna go off of what I actually wrote on my paper. So I'm gonna start. This is back in 4th grade summer camp. Now, what I want to say about this is after 2nd grade at that school, I actually moved schools because my family ended up moving. So this school that I went to next was closer, more convenient, so I just ended up going there for 3rd grade. 3rd grade was pretty hard. It was when I actually realized I had a bladder issue, which that's later in the series, but yeah, I still have a severe bladder issue. And whenever the teacher wouldn't let me use the bathroom, I would literally pee myself because my bladder muscles aren't very strong, which is mainly just what it is right now. The same thing, only worse. Which it sucked because my teacher would be in the middle of a lesson and I would go up to her and ask her, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And she would say no. And she thought I was very defiant, and me being defiant, I peed myself because I couldn't hold it anymore. Eventually, I actually had to go to the doctor and got a doctor's note. So whenever I had to go to the bathroom, she had to let me go. So she was a very interesting teacher. She actually taught me a lot of stuff I still use today from 3rd grade. And I use with the kids at the elementary school that I work at. But she, to be quite honest, wasn't the nicest teacher I had, but I respected her. So 4th grade came around and I started with 4th grade. Didn't do very well with 4th grade. My 3rd grade teacher did mention to my parents after I was failing 4th grade that she knew she had to hold me back, and decided not to, thinking that I would be smart enough to move on even though I didn't do very well in 3rd grade. And her, I guess, mistake led me to really fail 4th grade, and I ended up being held back into 3rd grade, while 4th grade was still like beginning in the year. So I still had time to go back to 3rd grade for that entire year, but would nonetheless still be held back. So after that, I actually moved schools. But we're still focusing on the same school. And as you can tell, I've moved schools a lot. a lot. So we're gonna stick with the same school. I was just giving you a little background information, but this was in between 3rd and 4th grade, which is summer. And I went to a summer camp for the summer because my parents worked. So during this technically 4th grade summer camp, And it was actually the only summer camp I went to with this school. I had very, I guess you can say, interesting friends. Let's start off with, there was a time where, actually, let me tell you about the setup of the camp. The summer camp took place in one building the entire time, which is the cafeteria, which is also a gym / auditorium. And the auditorium was obviously just the stage. And we would actually play up on the stage. There was a game system in one corner where we had like a cool Scooby-Doo game. I'm gonna show you that because that's a reference for me because that game was great. And then in another corner there was like a circular balcony, as if like there would be a play going on the stage, and it would just be like a Romeo and Juliet kind of, I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it, but the only thing that I know is there's like a circular balcony, a part of the stage, and then next to that balcony is the ramp to get off the stage. And then on the other side where the game thing is stairs to get off the stage or get on. So now that you know the layout of the stage, I'm going to explain one story that's significant to the stage for right now. In that little circular balcony, there are curtains that actually cover it. And so you can actually be in total privacy. Well, for fourth graders or whatever grade, because it was just a all around all grades summer camp, not just fourth grade. We would just play on the stage mostly, but these grades didn't really do anything sexual, and they just liked to play with toys. So the staff really didn't think of anything when the curtains were closed. This isn't like a sexual story, by the way, it's funny, so I'm gonna tell you. So I was playing with some friends, and I realized that there was a girl with a book, and she was being very secretive inside that little covered balcony. And so I went in there, and she was talking about turning all of us into fairies. And I'm like, can I join? And she's like, yes, but you're gonna be the last one, because apparently all these girls were wanting to come in and try and join. So she's just like, yeah, you can come in, you can turn into fairies, that's fine. So she had this book. I can try and find it for you. It was pretty interesting because inside the book there were actual little vials and directions, and it was pretty cute. So I'll show you real quick and then I'll continue. So we were getting so serious into the book that I was actually mentally planning for myself to turn into I was mentally planning my getaway when I turned into a fairy. Like, I was legitimately serious about me being a smaller person with wings. And she was trying to get us to turn into fairies, and at the end of the day we ended up not turning into fairies, which was too bad because I would have really enjoyed that, and I know that. And that was pretty much it. I just remember being really serious and really disappointed when I wasn't turned into a fairy, because I knew exactly where I was gonna go. I was gonna go out and fly out the door. I was gonna be a small little fairy, and no, none of that really happened, but it would have been cool. Interesting story that probably no one would believe. During this summer camp, I should probably mention this before I tell the story. I, in third grade, I had a boyfriend. It was like, I guess you can say serious, even though I was tiny and didn't know what I was doing. But nonetheless, it was serious. I remember this boy used to like really care for me, and he, at one point in this 3rd grade year, he made me a necklace, and we were on the playground. People were making fun of us that we were dating, and they were just singing that kissing song, and I got so upset that I took the necklace and threw it out into the field. And then I felt bad, so I went to go and find it again. And I knew where I threw it, and then I just couldn't find it again. And I kept on saying, I'm sorry, I know you made it for me. And he's like, it's okay. I just thought that was a really cute memory. But anyway, I was still technically dating him throughout the summer camp, because I never like broke up with him. This is probably something I would advise not to do, like ever, with another person, but it happened to me. So what ended up happening, which is what led to all of this, was my boyfriend came up to me while I was coloring, which, mind you, it was in front of staff. The staff were watching us coloring on these tables, like cafeteria tables, and he went up to me and he's just like, can I see your privates? And me not really thinking anything of it and being distracted with my coloring, I'm just like, okay, dumb. Okay, anyway, I showed him, I did this, and I did the same thing with my pants, let it go, and then he wanted to see my butt. So I did that again, and then he didn't even say anything and just walked away. So I was like, okay. And then there came the time we as a summer camp watch movies, and while we watch movies we are allowed to use these body pillows that they buy for us to use as a headrest, and you can share with your friends. I always try and, because there's a limited amount of body pillows, we race up to get one, and I share one with a girl, a friend of mine, and we were watching Happy Feet. I remember this. We were watching Happy Feet, and my boyfriend with his best friend, which was way better looking than him, were laying up in front of me, and they were talking about me, and I knew it was me because he kept on saying to his friend Austin how this girl showed me her privates, and he kept on saying, do you think she would do it to me? Would I get to see it? So basically, I was a little hoe that all the guys wanted to be with just because they wanted to see my privates. Oh, little me was so stupid. And I felt kind of nervous because I kind of knew what was happening. And I told my friend, I'm just like, they're talking about me. And she said, don't feel selfish. They're not talking about you. They wouldn't waste your time on you, and like shit like that. But nonetheless, they were talking about me, and I knew they were talking about me. The next day, I come into summer camp. That same friend that I was chilling out watching a movie with the same pillow came up to me and said, there's these 4 boys that want to talk to you, and they're up on the steps of the stage. And so I look at her, I'm like, do I have to go? And she's just like, well, if you don't go, I will. I'll go for you. And she kept on explaining why they were up there. They're just like, they want you to choose out of one of them who you want to be your boyfriend. I did that like gulp thing where it hurts the back of your throat and you feel like a burning sensation after. And I'm just like, I really don't want to go over there. And she's like, you need to go because they're not going to leave until you do. So reluctantly, I go, and they're all on the steps, like she said. And it was really awkward for me. I was very antisocial, as much as I could be. And the way that they're expecting me to answer right away was kind of hard. I'm a very indecisive person, but given the opportunity for this, they told me to choose out of one of them, and I ended up not choosing my boyfriend, that's for sure. And I have like fake names for them made already. So let's say my boyfriend is Jake. His I accidentally said his name before. His friend is named Blake, and actually no, his friend's name is fake because he was. And then the other two boys were Blake and Drake. So Blake was a younger boy. He was in 2nd grade. Drake was older. He was in 5th grade. Jake, which was my boyfriend, was the same age as me, but was my boyfriend. And Fake was my boyfriend's friend that he's very close to, which was probably the most good looking out of all of them at the time. So I end up choosing Blake, the younger guy. And obviously my boyfriend was really upset with me. So he walked away upset and never talked to me again. Fake was so upset that he told this younger boy that he didn't want to be his friend anymore just because I chose him, and didn't ever want to talk to him anymore, and went to a lunch table and started crying. Drake didn't do anything. He just, that's all I remember from him. I don't remember anything else. So Blake didn't want to be with me after I told him I wanted him, because he liked being friends with Fake. And I'm just like, but what if I went over to him and tried to get him to be your friend again? And he's like, I still don't want to go out with you just because it ruined my friendship. And I'm like, okay. Bros before hoes, I see you. I went up to Fake and I tried comforting him. I'm just like, can you try being his friend again, because that was kind of dumb. Probably didn't help him. I wasn't the best at therapy. I need therapy, that's why I wasn't good at it. Anyway, Fake just kept on crying, and then eventually I'm just like, okay, I'll be with you instead. And then he ended up not crying and I was kind of fed up with him, so I just walked away and said, okay, fine, we're dating, blah blah blah, doesn't matter. So after this took place, we had like a talent show. So I was in a dance with these two girls that we practiced this song. I'll show you like a little clip of the lyrics, because copyright. It was that Miley Cyrus song, See Me Again, I think. I was fairly popular with everyone just because of my looks. I could show you a picture of what I used to look like. I was good looking for a little child. Not anymore, no. but he was. And I had long blonde hair, blue eyes, and I was practicing for the dance, and I had so much more confidence than I ever do now. I'm so surprised with myself. But anyway, I did a lot of hair flips in this song. I remember a lot of those. And when I performed this talent show, I had so much confidence. Like, holy shit. I performed it so well, and I was very proud of myself, had no fear. And that's probably something I am jealous of my younger self with, is that amount of confidence that I had that I don't have anymore. But anyway, since the last story, I had a very good knowledge of what Bloody Mary was, and especially since that daycare that I went to. And there was a bathroom that the girls and boys had to use that was outside. It was kind of like the bathrooms that you would use when you go to a park. They're outside. There's a stall at the very end of the bathroom that wasn't as lit up as the rest of them were, just because they weren't as close to the door as everything else. And there were no windows in there, so it was just the darkest bathroom stall. All the girls were afraid to go into the stall because it was just so dark. So I ended up spreading a rumor that Bloody Mary was in there, and that if you went in there, she would take you. Probably not the best idea to do that, but I ended up doing that, and the girls that I told them to, their parents, their mothers, ended up picking them up the next day, and I went to say bye to the girls before they left, and the mom was just like, "You are never allowed to see my kids again. I will never invite you over. Stop spreading the rumor about Bloody Mary." And when my mom found out about it, I mean, yeah, I got in trouble, but she understood why I did it. But yeah, the moms were really harsh because they ended up yelling at me as if I was their child. Like, "You don't know me, bitch. Don't do that." Yeah. That was 4th grade summer camp. And I think I'm gonna stop it here because it's pretty long already, but yeah, that was a wild ride for that short time. And I think the next story that I'm gonna tell it's obviously from the same school, but it's hard to tell if it was actually in 4th grade or in 3rd grade. And I don't remember, but I do remember at the point it was in the middle of the year because it was while I needed to go to aftercare. That was held by the school. So I don't know, but I'll talk about it in the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, or part of the series, and I will see you in the next video. I will see you in the next video. Bye.